I'm sure you'll agree they made an absolutely splendid job. They've cleaned all these parts up. The Vapor Blaster has brought them back to virtually brand new. The cast iron parts, I've given them a coat of the paint I put on wood burning stoves, like a black heat resistant paint. It'll burn off, it'll get rusty again, but at least it'll look nice for a while. The next thing I'm going to do is finally lap the valve into the seat once more before we start to reassemble it. So we need some really fine grinding paste, which I've got here. Doesn't take very much, just a little bit, 2 or 3 places on the valve is all it takes. Right, so that's got a beautiful seat all the way around, as has the valve itself. I made a new joint for here out of some good quality joint material. They're called joints on steam engines and they're called gaskets on cars. I'm not going to put any joint and comment on there because it's going to be stripped again. And I need to either make or buy some new BSF nuts for here, but these will do just for the minute for the setup process. Trim around there with a knife and make the gasket look a little bit prettier, but basically that's quite nice the way it is. It's the new spring. I'll do it into there. That drops down into the valve and that screws into there. I'm going to put some prelude on this, I'll have to get it to start. We'll wind this up a little bit. I'm going to put some washers in here just so I can pull this down a little bit tight. That's not quite starting. I'm going to make sure the thread starts in there nice and clean. So we'll put some packing pieces under there just to get it down a little bit further. I'm going to put some of the high temperature anti-seize on the threads. It certainly won't, it'll burn off, but it won't do any harm. And I'll put a spacer in so the spring's compressed a little bit more. That's started in the valve as well, so Seeing that, I can see that the actuating rod is started correctly. Actuating rod, that's a big word. And it's starting to load that spring up now. I've certainly got some weight on there now. It's got the valve push closed. So we can put pressure on here now and make sure the valve is seating correctly. I've got an adapter here I made for pressure testing these before. Bastard! Fucking hurt. Put some compressed air into this first, and then we can put the hydraulic pump on, pump it up, and see if we can get it to lift at 255 or somewhere near 255. Like I say, it's going to be going away to be calibrated anyway. So right, this is my shop airline. That's 150 psi on there, and there's no hint of a leak. The valve's seating very nicely, so we need to put hydraulic pressure on here to make that lift. I think the first thing I'll do is tidy my messy bench up a little bit so that we can work a little bit tidier. Right, I'm going to fill the valve up with water. Like that, so full of water, you call compressed water. Which is the hose off me pump. Right, bastard messy. Right, so we've got water up to there. It's a milky colour because it's soluble oil what I use on the lathe. Well, there's nothing leaking out of the valve anyway, that's a good sign. Right, the valve's lifting there at about, it's 200. Lifting at 250, which is good enough till it gets set up properly, and it's stopping. It's holding pressure, no problem at all, so I'm quite happy with that. I bring the camera so you can see in there, maybe to see the valve lifting as I work the hand pump. See it lift up its seat there. So I can't pump any higher than, it's actually about 265 there. And that's working as intended. Happy with that. It'll be set up with air, I would imagine. But, I'm quite happy. I'm just going to leave it at that and then let them calibrate it from there. I need to make a joint for here with some decent joint material. I'll put the 2 holes in first for the studs. This stuff's a bit strong and thick to use my normal method of tapping around it, so we'll do it this way instead. Right, now we need to use that one to put the hole in the centre. I'm just going to eyeball it. We'll be able to get it very, very near. Might go for the next one down. Right, so we need to find the centre, which we can kind of guess or eyeball. That looks pretty good there. Does make a nice neat job. That's pretty good. I like it. Just about there, I think. There's no pressure on this part, it's just the exhaust up to the atmosphere, goes up the chimney. Once again, I'm going to get some new nuts to go on here. This handle goes in there in what it's for, so you can push it like that and that lifts the valve off the seat. That's a pin that goes through. I was going to make a new pin, but being as what this one's been in there 100 years, I'm just going to leave it. It's got lots of character about it. Make sure there's plenty free play. Things are going to wobble around because everything gets hot and expands. That takes quite a bit of operating that. It is a big spring in there. There's a little Allen key that locks that in place. Right, there's a little hole there, there's a quarter bolt goes in there, and quite often once the valve's been set up, that gets lock wired with a tag on, stating it's safe working pressure. So I need to find a little quarter bolt because the one that was in there is looking a bit sad for itself. Found a bolt, it'll go in there, and that gets screwed in and just locks on the thread to stop that moving. Like I say, it can be lock wired with a tag on, so you know you're doing to interfere with it. Once it's set up, that should be it. You set it up cooled on air, but quite often when you put steam on it, it's different. You've got to tweak it either way because things expand and contract quite a lot.